Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into our first episode of the Kuro Files. It's our spin-off series that is going to be just me and Logan, so we're not going to do any of our major introductions. It's just me and Logan, so yeah, hopefully you guys will enjoy it and have as much fun with this as we have been having. It's actually been going really, really well, so just sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Hate. Hate is not born, but maliciously crafted with the dark concoctions of betrayal and insanity. The schemes of my first betrothed, Beatrice, and the death of my son by her hands. This was more than enough to start off this recipe for madness. I was blinded with the veil of blackness, and once lifted, I stood over my love's lifeless cadaver. With this action, my contract to the crystal was signed in her crimson ink. The rules were clear. I was to awake from death's embrace to exterminate the rats of this otherwise perfect world, with the very blade stained with her blood. Hate. Hate is not just a feeling. It's a demon. And its name, Kuro, the sleepless samurai.
Right now, all you see is kind of pitch blackness, as if you're just floating in a timeless abyss of nothingness. And in this dark, shadowy abyss, you hazily hear, Kuro, Kuro, Kuro. Once you start to, focus a little bit better, you see a familiar goddess in white, and you hear, Kuro, it is time. And you feel like your body kind of jut up for a bit, and then you see Heidelin kind of standing before you.
I'm gonna assume I'm on the ground, probably. I mean, the only reason I'd be here is because I'm dead at some point.
Well, you're not really standing, you're still, hovering in the black abyss, and she looks like she's standing firmly on the ground, but, yeah.
Have we confirmed already that I know who Heidelin is, or I just know the crystal?
You definitely know who Heidelin is.
Okay, so she's a reoccurring thing amongst this
every
process.
time you wake up, you see Heidelin.
Ugh. What do you want now, Harpy?
It appears the crystals have fallen into dark hands once more. Zodiark's birth is about to once again take fold. I have selected my heroes, but in case they happen to fall short, I might need a backup.
Ugh, what a shocker. You choose 4 more, and yet you still have doubts. But you never seem to have doubts in me. I wonder why that is. Maybe you need a better picking process.
It's not as if I chose you myself. You chose this fate when you made your choices.
My eyes start kind of jittering, and you can see my hair sort of flickering in and out from black to white. That line kind of disturbed me. I don't like it being brought up.
When she sees you start to kind of flare up a bit and get a little angsty, she just slowly raises her hand, and you feel a strong pulse hit you in the chest, and you just kind of feel that power leave you instantly.
Seriously? How many times do we have to go through this?
Far too many. And she snaps her fingers, and all of a sudden you're surrounded by a bunch of trees. A bunch of lush green grass kind of surrounds you. It's pretty tall. You're currently laying in it. It's a little itchy.
Damn my hay fever! Back to the land of the living, it looks. Where am I? I like to do probably a perception check just to see if, I remember this place.
Do you have either survival or knowledge nature?
I was more just talking about just looking around my surroundings, really. I have a knowledge of history. Oh, I never took a thing of knowledge of history. Oh no! I really only have perception.
Okay, roll perception. We'll make it work.
How did I not take history? 19 plus 5, so 24.
Okay, so yeah. You look around, and you recognize this as the continent of Terra. I mean, not very many of the other continents have a lot of greenery on them.
So even though it's a 24, it's basically, this is just obvious knowledge.
Yeah. But you do remember dying here, actually at the hands of a Vieira warrior, to be precise.
I could like still feel the wounds like from it. They're not there, but I can still sort of feel. It's like waking up from a dream where you just died, and you can sort of like feel that access pain almost. I can still feel it pretty vividly. So, seems like I'm still in Terra. What a surprise. No matter how much I try, I can't get away from here. I wonder. And I try to look around my surroundings a bit more, or see if I can make out any bigger, landmarks.
You do know that you are like maybe a 2 or 3 days walk away from Tenchar, but back when you were alive the last time, there was a shrine dedicated to the Earth Crystal, which is also pretty close to Tenchar, which you're also familiar. So you're also about a 2-day trip away from that as well.
Mm-hmm.
As well as you are probably one of the few humans that are aware of a Vieira homestead that is also inside these woods. Looking back on your surroundings, you are able to pretty much pinpoint your exact location. So what are you going to do? You're going to head towards Tenchar, you're going to head towards the shrine, you're going to head towards the Vieira village.
I obviously remember Tenchar as being a big city with, obviously, there's good and evil going on in this place. Like, it's any kind of city. There's going to be dark stuff behind there. Me dealing with this for so long, I'm kind of just sick of this crap. I decide to go, off-roads and decide to go towards the Vieira homestead.
Okay, just make a survival check, because that's one you can do untrained.
Oh no. I guess I get my wisdom modifier. Oh no. Oh no. 6.
Okay. So
just take one step.
Yeah. So as you are traveling through the woods, you start to get a little lost. You remember Vieira is basically western from where you came to, but yeah. But that's all you can seem to really remember. As you start walking, you're like, okay, crap, I've seen that tree before, and you can't remember if you saw that tree before because it was part of your past and you're walking in the right direction, or because you've walked past it very, very recently.
Just to make sure that I know that this tree was here, I'm not walking past the same thing over and over again, I attack the tree to try taking at least a piece out of it.
Okay, awesome. Just roll your damage to see how much you take out of this tree.
Just roll damage right away?
Yep.
I mean, I guess it doesn't have an AC.
Yeah, it's a tree.
Okay, let's do this. It's 1d10 plus 6. Just for overkill, I should use power attack, but I'm not going to. 9 plus 6, so 15 damage.
Okay. So yeah, you super annoyed and frustrated at this point because the character's a pretty angry character. So you instantly just slash away at this tree, not realizing how much strength you're actually putting into it to just leave a little mark on it. And the tree's you cut it 3/4 of the way through. Make a reflex save.
No. My actions cost me a lot with this character. Holy hell. Kill my wife, now I'm contracted to kill evil. Cut a tree, now I'm contracted to make a reflex save. God damn. 16.
Okay, yeah, you succeed. So yeah, you cut into it, and it's almost instantly you realize that you done fucked up as the tree starts leaning towards you and falling, and you just quickly jump roll out of the way.
Man, I've only been alive for maybe an hour, and things are already trying to kill me. Too bad none of them can ever succeed.
Right as you say that, make a perception check.
I love how there's been more checks in this one scenario than there has been in all of my previous characters. 17.
Okay. So you look down at your feet right after you finish that sentence, and you actually see these weird criss-crossy looking ropes, and you realize it's a net, and you get hoisted up into the air. You see female, obviously a female Viera, comes strolling out of the woods along with two others trailing behind her. She's got shorter silver hair. She's got quite a bit taller than the other Viera. Her outfit is made of purely leather, covering her from head to toe. Not your traditional Viera attire. She doesn't look like a slute.
I don't think we can say that on the podcast.
If they're listening to this podcast, they're playing Final Fantasy 14. They all look like sleuths.
Well, at least we're not saying the actual word.
Yeah. So yeah, she walks up to you and she goes, "You are not welcome in these wood."
I'm not very much welcome anywhere, sweetheart. But if I'm not so welcome here, then you wouldn't mind letting me down.
It's usually trespassers like you that cause us the most trouble.
Trespasser, eh? If only you only knew. If only. I'm getting a bit frustrated at this point. Like, I've been up in this net for like maybe 30 seconds. I'm already just fed up with being suspended. I've been suspended in my previous lives and I still don't like it. I cut the rope.
Okay. Before you cut the rope, like as you go to like try to pull it out, the net's been pretty fastly tightened around you, so you like go to pull it out and you don't have enough space to yank it out.
My sword's way too big.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Your sword, does it have any like defining features on the sheath?
On the sheath, no. Honestly, for the most part, for anyone listening to this, we have decided that I am allowed to use a Nodachi. Even though that might not say it in the character description, it just adds to the character. It is just a standard Nodachi sheath. It is. I definitely can't pull it because I have the sheath going down my back, so definitely can't pull it at this point. But like off the blade, even if you can only see a tiny bit of it being pulled out, it's clear that the thing's rusted from like head to toe with blood. But it still looks as sharp as like any other blade.
Okay. What about the handle?
The handle is aligned with like gold straps going down it. It's around like 4 to 5 loops going through it, and it does have like some gems and everything going through it. This was a gift from Kuro's first betrothed, Beatrice, and she made it very special for him, from basically to deceive him, to show like, hey, she cares and everything like that. So she gave her like she gave him the finest blade, basically, is what this is.
Okay, so I would assume the handle hilt. Okay, I would assume the hilt has some pretty defining features, like one of the kind defining features.
That's what I was more talking about. Yeah, that's the most defining feature. Really, is like that gold and everything going down it. There's not. I would doubt that there's a lot of swordsmen who really put that much detail into their weapon, because they're going through them like it's nothing.
Yeah.
But for Kuro, this weapon's everlasting. It's part of his curse. He's forced to use this as somewhat of a reminder that he's a terrible human being.
Okay, so Devira walks forward a little bit, and she kind of cocks her head a little bit, and she has kind of a concerned face on her, and she walks kind of behind the hanging net and sees your weapon, and she goes, "Where did you find that blade?"
Find it? I didn't find anything. This was crafted by some of the finest smiths in the world, even if they may not be here today, and then gifted by my betrothed.
That's impossible. Only one man has wielded that blade before in these lands, and he is no longer here. How did you find that blade?
Simple enough. In the flesh, sweetheart. Now let me down. I intimidate her.
Okay, roll an intimidation.
I don't even know if I have to at this point. 19.
She doesn't look so much intimidated as she does, like, kind of lost in shock. Like, as if she's seen a ghost, almost. And she turns to the other two and goes, "Cut them down." And without missing a heartbeat, they see one pull out her bow, and she aims it up to the little piece of the rope that's holding you up on the tree, and she fires, and the arrow cuts through it, and you plummet to the ground.
Right as falling, and it's like, son of a bitch! Because, like, I probably would just, like, land on my back, and that's where my sword is.
And you take 1 point of fall damage.
1 point of fall damage. Shouldn't I have rolled the damage? Me.
I mean, I could have let you roll.
Probably a good thing you didn't let me roll, because I probably would have, like, rolled a 6 or something. Like,
yeah, your cheaty dice roll pretty high. Deviera just starts to, like, walk past you, and she walks up to her party members, and she goes, "Leave him be. We must go." And they start walking.
Hey, where are you going? If you're gonna at least drop me on the ground, you can show a bit of hospitality. Where's the Vieira homestead at?
You were welcome into our home once before, but you are not welcome there no more.
Don't remember doing anything to upset anybody besides, I don't know.
She springs around halfway through your sentence. She goes, "You might have not done anything to our home, but you have done much to me." And she storms away.
Hey, she's a rabbit. I can handle it.
Whoa.
Imagine that.
Whoa.
Did you just assume my race? How dare you? Well, I'm obviously gonna just follow her from behind. I mean, I'm not gonna stealth check, but I'm gonna slowly just keep walking with my, hands, like, at my side.
Are you not stealthing at all? You're just gonna, like, slowly saunter behind
I have
her?
no reason to stealth. Honestly, at this point, I'm pretty sure she's perceptive enough to, see the guy with a giant sword on his back trying to go through a bush.
Yeah. So she's walking, she turns to you again. She goes, "I told you, you're not welcome in these woods."
I might not be welcome, but I don't see anyone trying to stop me or trying to get me to leave. Seeing that you obviously know who I am, you obviously know what I can do.
I do. But I'd like for you to try and take on all three of us at once.
Going for that intimidation again. Except this time, though, instead of the normal type of intimidation, this isn't like a special ability or anything like that. For what I do for the intimidation, instead of just yelling, is I take off my outer attire from my breastplate and show off, like, all the scars across my body from my previous deaths. So I'm assuming I'm going to roll for that again.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a 21. And basically just like, taking out all three of you won't be that hard. And as you can see, I've probably more than done that at one time.
She's kind of with a bit of a sigh. It's like, even if you were to continue to follow us, there's no way you'd be able to make it into the homestead.
I'm just getting intimidated by that.
She clearly knows who you are, and so that's why your intimidations aren't really working.
Yeah, because this is something I've done to her probably before. Well, I just pick up my outer attire, then wrap it around my breastplate, cover myself up again. I'm just not gonna do anything until she starts walking, and I'm gonna start following her again. At this point, I'm just looking for a landmark. I've given up talking to her. Like, the only thing Kuro knows how to do is intimidate people, and obviously this isn't getting him anywhere.
No. Okay. So, as you're following close behind, she turns to you one last time, and she goes, "You hurt me when you left that day," and she just kind of vanishes as she takes a couple steps forward.
Yeah, this is inner monologue. Like, yeah, I've hurt a lot of people in my days. Not many I care about. This one I can't seem to remember. Why can't I remember? This is starting to irritate me, again, it's sort of flickering between, this crazed mode again, hair's going black a little bit, eyes are starting to go red again. I'm getting visibly mad.
Mm-hmm.
No, obviously no one's watching me do that, but...
Yeah.
Okay then. Well, this isn't gonna work. I've gotta at least find this place to find a landmark. Then I can follow some kind of road away.
Do you have any knowledge whatsoever?
Surprisingly, no. The only really thing I have is perception.
And intimidate.
Because that's kind of what that's really what I've gone off of with this character, is he doesn't care to remember anything. He doesn't want to remember anything. So the only thing he really goes off of is his instinct, so his perception.
Okay, I'm going to give you a bonus rank point to put in your knowledge history, just because you being a person that's basically lived throughout time, I feel like that should be something that you should automatically have. So every level, you will automatically get an additional rank in your knowledge history.
Okay, so I guess I'll do this history check then. I had 12.
Okay, so you have you get like a splitting headache as you start getting angry. A splitting headache isn't your normal one that you usually get when you get into this kind of state.
Mm-hmm.
It's slightly different. So once you start like kind of holding your head, trying to like, when you start hurting, you put your hand wherever you're freaking.
I've been trying to calm myself down.
Yeah, you see a faint vision of a child Vieira kind of like tugging on your sleeve, and you can't seem to place the time frame, but you see kind of a resemblance to that Vieira tugging on your sleeve to the one that just walked away, except for clearly a few many years younger.
Yeah, because I'm insane, basically. I look down at it because I can vividly see this now. Like, the crazed part of me has this I'd probably say this crazed side of me has like a pinpoint memory. That's why, if I go crazed, I can sort of remember things. That's also why I go mad, because I can remember everything that happened. So I look down to this vision of this child. I'm like, what do you want, child?
And you just hear laughing, and she goes, Kuro, come on, play with me.
Can't right now. You're not real. None of this is real. As I'm trying to snap out of it.
You kind of hear a staticky noise, and the child vanishes, and you just see you're staring down at the grass again.
Those never get easier. But that child, she looks... And it pops in my head, sort of. It's not clear that it's the same person, but I'd like to think he's putting two and two together. And so from the direction that, I saw her vanish, from when she walked away, I start picking up speed, because I've taken way too much time at this point. She's a Vieira. She's gone. That's a stereotype, isn't it? So I start booking it through this forest towards where she was going.
So you start running, and then as you start running, you see, I imagine your hands are kind of going in front of you as you're running, because, that's what you do when you run.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, kind of, your hand seems to vanish, and then, what do you do?
Well, the first thing I would probably start doing is thinking, what the hell? The second one would be look immediately back to the direction where my arm, went.
Well, it's in front of you, so as you're running forward, your hand goes upwards, and then it just kind of vanishes.
It kind of vanishes. Oh, okay. I just walked forward.
Okay. So yeah, you get another headache right as that happens, because obviously when you're going something clicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that you see that little girl Vieira again, and she's pulling you through this nothingness void. At first you were remember being hesitant, and then you let her pull you in, and then you remember seeing a huge Vieira village on the other side.
And obviously looking down at this, I'm still getting these headaches from remembering all of this. But I just while holding my head, I slowly walk through. I'm starting to remember what's going on here. I'm not 100% sure on the nature of how they do this. I just know that they do this. So I walk through this seemingly invisible wall of sorts.
Okay. So yeah, once you walk through, the scenery changes completely. So it goes from just being plain tall green trees to now there's a bunch of huts suspended on these giant wooden planks and stairs that they've managed to build up off the ground going upwards. Some of them are on the ground. There's flowers kind of blooming everywhere. There's a bunch of these gorgeous vines hanging from tree to tree. It almost looks like you've entered a whole other world.
Huh. Finally found it. How do I not remember a veiled village? How do I walk hours through a forest looking for a veiled village? And just to keep up with my own stupidity, I stab my sheath of my sword in the ground, and I sit down cross-legged trying to get rid of this headache. I'm starting to get visibly mad at myself, but not this, I'm turning mad. I'm just I'm upset by how dumb I was.
Okay. So once you do that, once again, make another reflex save. In fact, make 3.
God damn it! Why do you keep doing reflexes? My reflex is my worst stat! 17. 16.
Nice.
16.
Oh, I was kind of hoping for a low one.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
Cheap dice.
Yeah. So you hear like a whistling noise. Being a fighter that you are, you instantly pick up on these as the sounds of arrows whiffing through the air, and you quickly yank your sword out of the ground, and you just, in a quick reaction, slice through all 3 arrows.
Gonna take more than that. If I recall correctly, it was kind of the first time we met before. Now, why do you attack me this time?
Once again, I told you, you're not welcome in these woods.
Welcome or not, I know who you are and you know who I am. You should know that I go where I please until my travels have come to an end.
And she just kind of sighs and like her shoulders go up and her head kind of tilts a bit, and then she just kind of lets her shoulders drop, and she goes, "Fine, you may stay here for a little while, but just remember, you are not welcome here."
I'm not welcome many places, but that's as much of an invite I'm gonna get here. I resheath my blade back into its, wait, no, right, never mind, I never took it out anyways, I just hit it with the sheath anyways. So I pick up my, my sheath, put it back onto my back, because I put it down. You know, I'm gonna look around a bit. Like, I wanna visibly look around.
Okay. Make a perception check. What are you, like, looking for?
I'm looking to see if anything's changed, essentially, because I've been there before.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see if, like, you know, if anything's changed where everything is. Because, obviously, like, a lot of these places I'm going to be going to, they're going to be places I've probably seen. Kind of historical. I've been through all these times. So, but it's nice to see, because I would assume, like, places like Tenshar or whatever would have changed as a city.
Yeah.
Got 9.
9, okay. So you don't notice anything's changed too much. Like, almost every single vine is exactly the same spot that you saw it the last time you were here. The only major difference is there used to be a large hut that used to house the leader of this village, and that hut has basically been kind of torn down, and it seems like it is almost non-existent now.
Well, Kuro's, you know, he's pretty attuned with this type of stuff. He's seen the structures taken down. He knows a bad sight when he sees it. Obviously something's happened here. So, like, the first thing...
Not necessarily. Like, when you see the hut is no longer there, it's almost as if, like, they deconstructed it themselves. Not like something attacked it. Yeah.
It's a rebellion! The leader said no Taco Tuesdays.
They're like, fuck that. We need our Taco Tuesdays.
I'm gonna walk over to it, and you know, I'm gonna inspect what's happening here. Like, well, not inspect, but how I should put it. I'm gonna go up to this structure, and I'm gonna look around for, like, the nearest Viera and ask what's going on here.
Okay. You see another Viera. She's kind of small for a full-grown Viera. Her hair is pretty much shaven. She's got, like, kind of a little mini faux hawk going.
Whoa!
Yeah. Her attire is basically just black leather, but still covers her body pretty much. And she got, like, kind of a punk-looking Viera.
Nice. Something I can get with. Let's meet angst with angst.
Yeah.
Well, I go up to her and it's like, you, Viera, what happened to this hut? I remember it vividly standing last time I was here.
We've decided to abolish one appointed leader. Our last leader had died of old age, and she originally had placed the rule of this village in Tatalia's hands. But Tatalia didn't want to rule this village just by herself. Instead, she decided to rule it as a united front. Hey everybody, this is another segment of Friendship Corner. This time we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about me, and in our future Friendship Corners, you're going to learn a little bit more about our other hosts on the show, just to get you a little bit more in touch with us, get to know us a little bit better. So I am a 30-year-old gay male, actually. I have been with my boyfriend for a whopping going on to 7 years. We have a beautiful dog named River. If you would like to see some pictures of her, she will probably be posted up in my Twitter. She's absolutely adorable. I love her to pieces. I am a huge Final Fantasy fanatic. I play Final Fantasy 14 a lot, and I'm so excited for the Final Fantasy 7 remake. I'm sure all of you are as well. I work at EB Games, surprisingly. I'm the assistant manager there. I've been doing that only for a short little while. I actually worked at a grocery store prior to that. For 7 years almost. It's crazy. It's been great. We actually started doing this podcast just kind of a spur of the moment. It's actually thanks to the Roaring Trainers, actually. I was listening to the Roaring Trainers and I was like, wow, this is actually a lot of fun and these guys are absolutely amazing and I would love to do this with my friends. So, I instantly messaged everybody and said, hey, do you guys want to do a Final Fantasy podcast with me? And they were like, yeah, let's totally do it. And here we are. So, if there's anything else you want to know about me or some of my hosts, or if you guys have any questions, we're going to use Friendship Corner for these purposes. So you can post anything on Twitter. That would be the best place. You can do it at our NEMP enough on Twitter to send out all these questions, ask us what you want to know, and we will answer them on Friendship Corner. So, yeah, hopefully we will hear from you soon. Also, if you want to play with us as well, you can contact us at our email, which is notenoughmp@gmail.com. We can also receive our fan art there as well, so if you guys have some fan art that you want to see, we will post that up on Twitter. You just got to send it to that email, and we are looking forward to seeing it. We haven't seen anything yet, so hopefully we see something soon. Super excited. We want to see what you guys think of our characters and what they look like. So, yeah, we will let you get back to the show, and we'll stop holding up your time.
Last I remembered, you seem to have been a lot nicer to some outsiders. Or at least to me, at the very least.
I'm sorry, I don't know who you are, and we don't let a whole lot of humans into our wood.
I just kind of shrug and be like, yeah, of course you don't know who I am. Why would anyone know who I am? I only keep coming back to do the dirty work. My eyes are kind of bulging out of my head at this point. Just kind of getting sick and tired of having to go through this no one remembering me crap.
Having to reintroduce yourself to every single human being you stumble upon.
There's people who sure, there's gonna be people old enough who do remember me. Obviously, someone does. Yeah. But then I have all these other people god damn, I'm really getting sick of introductions. Well, then why wouldn't you be for this? A united front would be good for a village like this. Many supplies.
We agree. That's why we all decided to do it this way. It's proven to be a lot more efficient and a lot more structurally sound.
Well, you definitely have no short on rope, that's for sure. Referencing back to me being tugged into the air. I'm still a bit salty about that. I don't like being high.
Well, when your village is mostly made of vines.
Okay, well, I'm gonna try going and looking for the younger, that young to old Vieira that I'm remembering. I'm gonna try going around and looking for her, because I would assume I've lost sight of her by now. Yeah. I've walked a completely different direction from her. Now that I think about it, I just showed her no mind after they shot at me.
Yeah.
So I go to look for her to question her.
Well, she's also already shown that after she's done talking to you, she doesn't want to talk to you anymore. So when she said that you could stay, you could assume that she pretty much just fine, you can stay, and she turned around and left.
Yeah, I'm Kuro. I have all the time in the world. I'm gonna figure this out. So yeah, I go around and I look for her.
Okay, make diplomacy checks.
Ha! That's fantastic. Fuck, that's not fantastic. I got an 11.
Okay, so you're like looking around, you're trying to find her. Like, Vieira don't have a whole lot of distinguishing features aside from maybe different hairstyles, different heights. Their facial features are more or less the same.
I'm trying to look for the one that gives the least shits in this village. That's how I know which one it is.
Yeah. So even though you've tried asking a couple of Vieira, and they seem to give you pretty much the cold shoulder, the only one that's ever seemed to give you any time of day in this village is the punk one.
I told you, angst and angst.
Yeah. So yeah, you can't seem to gather any information as to whereabouts this Vieira is, and everybody seems almost insulted that you don't know her name, like really have any way of saying who she is.
This is gonna be dangerous. Very dangerous. But I'm gonna tap into his other side to see if I can remember anything. I basically start vividly hitting myself in the head to the point where, again, I start getting mad. Because I've already figured out a long time ago that I remember more when I'm in this state. Do you want me to do a check for that, or?
Roll a d4.
Roll a d4. I'm gonna bash myself in the head with my hilt. 2.
It's a d6.
Damn it! We could have still it. You leave me alone. Okay. I've been awake all day. 4.
Okay, so you take 4 points of damage as you start beating yourself in the head.
Excellent.
Yeah, and you can roll a knowledge history check and add 4.
That's 4. Yeah, get 1 for each. This is the best character ever. I can't remember anything. Start hitting myself in the face. Oh shit, yeah, no, I got that. 21.
21? Oh, okay. Yeah, so you, once again, you go back to the little girl kind of showing you around the village, and she's tugging you on your sleeves, and you faintly remember being annoyed that this little girl is just not leaving you alone, and she's just so insistent on showing you the village. And you have a moment when you remember saying her name. You say, Tatalia. That's enough.
Also, I'm pretty sure there are Vieira males, by the way. Pretty sure I've read in the description that it's just because there's not very many of them.
No longer.
not in this village. Kuro killed them all.
Yeah.
These Vieira are my bitches now. Tatalia. My eyes open. Tatalia! Dude, this light bulb kind of just goes ting in my head. And so I'm gonna now run around the village again. This time, yelling her name loudly as hell.
I like how you did that instead of going to the punk chick who specifically mentioned Tatalia.
Oh, trust me, it went through my head. But
okay.
Again, Kuro, instinctual, not necessarily intelligent.
Okay. So yeah, you run around yelling her name, and all the Vieira are kind of giving you a more concerned look, because you're yelling this are you yelling it aggressively? Yeah, I don't
Concerningly, more or less. As much as Kuro tries to keep people away, he understands the feeling of betrayal. This is the one feeling that Kuro would never wish upon even his own enemies. If he was to do anything, if he saw an enemy betraying one of his own team, he would go out of his way to kill that one guy. This is something that he absolutely hates amongst anything else. So because he feels he betrayed somebody, he needs to make this amends. As much as he doesn't care, he does, in a sense.
Okay. So as you're yelling it, you see the Vieira that you would assume to be Tatalia, the one that you saw from before. She kind of pokes her head out of a hut on the other side, trying to figure out what the commotion is. And when she sees this you running around like a moron, screaming her name, she just you can see that she gives a grunted, annoyed look on her face before turning back in and going inside her hut.
I could only just imagine a little gopher poking their head out. As you said, she pokes her head out of the hut. Did you say
super poked up, like
Did
looking
you say
around.
I saw her?
Yeah, you saw her.
I make my way towards that hut, but like, you know, I don't bash in or anything like that. I am a man of honor. I give it 2 knocks and I lay down on one knee with my sword to my side.
Okay.
I'm ashamed of what I've done, even if I don't know what I did.
So, you knock on the door and you just hear a yell out from the other side. What? What did you want?
Well, being on this knee makes me look ridiculous, as someone will not open the door. Listen, I don't know what I've done to you, but I apologize. I've betrayed you in some way. I wouldn't wish that among Bahamut himself.
The fact that you don't even remember what you did is appalling. I do not want to look at you right now.
I wouldn't want to look at me either, but please, there's gotta be something in your heart that can forgive me.
You hear another on the other side of the door.
This bitch!
Yeah. And she flings the door open again, and you see that her outfit has changed drastically. She's no longer in that leather gear that she was in before. She's actually in a slightly more revealing outfit, but not like overly. It's she's got those veils that kind of like drape over her chest and her waist.
I was gonna say there's a white light with some doves, and it's just going ha ha
Yeah.
ha hey, ha ha
Yeah.
ha ha.
It's like a purple veil, and it's hanging over a black tighted vest, or not vest. What is it called? The thing that a corset?
Yeah, corset.
Yeah. Over a black corset that's tightly fitted around her waist, and she's kind of got like a half type black gown coming off her. It doesn't cover her front part, but it covers from her hips back, and it kind of like drapes down past her, down to her ankles.
I'm going to assume that this was more because I obviously I do remember what the little punk rabbit said to me about Tatalia, and then something about leader and all that type of stuff. So I'm going to put 2 and 2 together and probably say this is more of a formal wear for her, trying to like, it's more extravagant, so she's trying to show dominance in a sense. So I take that in consideration. You know, I just go like, so you've taken the leadership position, have you?
No, it was passed upon me, but I turned it down. I rather run this village on a united front, not an independent one.
I've seen many villages go down that route. None of them are standing at this point. You think that is a good idea?
We've managed to survive this long.
Well, I know I'm only welcome here for a little bit, and I've made my apologies, and that's as far as I'm gonna probably get here. I need directions towards Tenshar.
I'd be willing to give you the direction. I'll take you there myself. However, there's something that you're going to need to do for us to earn your keep here. And maybe I will forgive you.
Well, maybe it's better than anything. I stand right back up, like just spring up, blade at my side. So what is it, Your Highness?
Make a reflex save.
Yeah. Kuro, why must you be so sarcastic at times? Nat 20!
Nat 20, okay. So, you instantly get a flashback of your sarcasm, especially towards women, resulting in a backhanded slap. So, it almost, in reaction to this, after making your comment, you instantly swing your head back as her hand comes like whipping past your face.
I can only imagine I've made these type of comments to Heidelin, so I just like have like hundreds of years of experience of dodging women hitting me. For anyone who's wanting to know, Kuro's old, but he looks young, so he might just be a tiny bit misogynistic. A tiny bit.
Okay, so you like swing back and she's like, impressive. So, I'm not too sure what's happened, but there's been a disturbance in the wood. I'm not too sure what's happened, but I feel that the earth crystal its presence is no more.
There's like sweat like going down my forehead because I thought she was about to mention the tree I just cut down. Like, disturbance? What do you mean?
I did nothing. I don't know what you're talking about.
Back to game talk.
Yeah.
What kind of disturbance do you mean? I know what you speak, but I have not felt this disturbance.
There's been these weird rifts kind of torn upon the world. There's like a purple crack has formed in the middle of the sky.
I've seen a lot of stuff in my life. Rabid ground squirrels, man-eating plants. What the hell do purple cracks have to do with this right now?
I do not know. I know the last time you were here, the world was in quite a state of decay, as the crystals had been shattered. However, this is different than the last time.
Yeah, I was going to assume that these purple cracks are a bit of a unique situation to Kuro's life. He probably hasn't seen this type of shit yet.
Yeah.
Kuro is always learning some new experiences. Rather if he wants to or not. Well, did she mention they're in the sky or anything like that? Like where
she said, well, you can ask her more specifics.
No, I wasn't sure if you mentioned it already, so.
I said that she's seen cracks in the sky, but you can
okay.
ask for more specifics if you want.
Well, be more specific. What's wrong with these cracks? Is there's some type of ill intent coming from it?
They seem to just form anywhere. I've seen some just form in the side of the tree. Sometimes they just form in the middle of the air. We don't know quite where they've come from. However, there seems to be some creatures that come pouring from inside.
Creatures, you say? And I'm going to assume that that's where I come in.
Yes, a crack has formed just on the outskirts of the village. However, this crack is a little bit different than the others.
How so?
This crack has not formed any creatures whatsoever. However, I have sent my Valerian sisters to investigate, and they have yet to return. I fear that they might have gone inside.
Now, what would make anyone think going inside a random purple crack would be a good idea? It doesn't seem like you've trained your warriors very fantastic, Tatalia.
My sisters are... Yeah. She does look like... Actually, make a perception check.
Make a perception. Shit, I shouldn't have said anything. It gave you ideas. Yeah, I got a natural 18, so 23.
You look at her and you see that she's got a very concerned look on her face. Like, she's very much aware that she's made a mistake sending them out there.
I go over to her. I do like a little consoling pat on the shoulder. I've got this. And then I turn around and start walking away, blade on my shoulder.
Just so you know.
And I have no idea where this is yet.
Yeah. The warriors that my Valerian sisters that went to this crack, they were some of my top troops. I thought for sure that they could handle it, whatever was there. So the fact that they have not returned is at the utmost concern from my village. If they can't defend what is to come of these things, then what is to say of to come to the village?
Well, if I have anything to say about it, nothing is going to make it to this village except for your friends again. And also, where is this crack?
She points to the most northern part of the village.
It's like to think that he's actually just walking himself at this moment, so he just pivots on one leg and starts walking there again. He thought he looked cool, but now he looks like a dunce.
Yeah. I just imagine having his sword rested up on his shoulder, and he just pops up his chest and does that kind of toy soldier walk.
That's essentially what it is, honestly.
Make it look like he's acting all cool.
Kuro's not with the times or anything. Time has no meaning to him at this point.
Yeah.
So I start making my way north here to see what this crack is. I've already consoled her. I'm hoping that's enough. Kuro doesn't know. He's just motionless.
Yeah.
So I make my way towards this crack.
Okay, so as you travel through, you see a bunch of younger Viera kind of playing in some grass off in the field. It's not near where the destination you're going, but just looking at them, you kind of get a little bit of a pain in your chest, like a familiar pain in your chest. And then once again, you have a small headache, and you see a flashback of Talia playing in a field by herself, and she's like picking up a bouquet, picking a bunch of little flowers, and you remember her like bringing them to you.
And like I put a little smirk on my face, but like I immediately shake it off. I don't want to remember. The only thing I need to remember is who she is to get through the situation. Get to whatever's keeping me here, and then to repeat my cycle. So I just keep making my way towards the north until I can find this thing, paying no mind towards these children. So,
okay. So as you get going, you go through that invisible wall that is there, that veil.
Yeah, the veil.
And you stumble upon a old, rotting tree. It's something that you've never seen before. Like, you've seen trees decay and like break down and burn down and all this other type of stuff, but this looks way different. Like, it's kind of black. You kind of see like this purple fog kind of like pouring out of it, and you see like the leaves have all kind of turned purple. Smell a bad stench of just like rot and decay kind of pouring off of it.
Is it like a familiar type of rot?
Nope. You do not recognize the smell in all your years that you've been alive.
Well, this doesn't look good. I pulled Beatrice out of her sheath. For anyone listening at home, I haven't explained this yet. Beatrice is the name of my sword that was given to me by Beatrice, my betrothed. Confusing, I know, whatever.
And also slew Beatrice.
Yeah. Oh God, I killed my wife! So yeah, I pulled Beatrice out of her sheath. Makes like, you know, the big shinging sound that you think it would. And I go and like slightly tap the wood to check it out. Like, I don't know if this thing's gonna crumble at like on the touch or not.
Okay, so you tap it with your sword, and it makes like squishing noises, but it doesn't seem like your sword is even penetrating it. So it's kind of weird that it would be making these noises.
That's odd. I'll walk around it, you know, inspect it a bit more. See.
Make a perception check.
Yeah, 7. Why are my perceptions so bad? Everything else has been kind of good.
7 will be fine. Because, I mean, you're just inspecting the tree. I imagine you just inspect like the trunk area. You're not really looking up into the leaves, especially not with the 7.
I'm Kuro. I don't look up high.
Yeah. So, as you're walking around it, you get to the back end of the tree, and you see this giant purple crack kind of going from top to bottom of this tree, and it has almost like human width, and when you look into it, all you see is like purple TV static.
TV static.
That's the best way for me to describe it.
Immersion broken.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like. Is there any like rocks, branches on the ground?
Yeah, totally. Okay. I mean, you're in the woods.
I'm gonna pick up. Hey, who knows? I don't know. Maybe Viera has picked up all the rocks to go make a campfire or something. I don't know. Damn stereotypes. But I pick up a rock and, you know, I chuck it through here. Kuro is not a patient person. He's getting to the point.
Yeah, so you throw it in there, and it gives off like this weird technology type sound, like a computer trying to upload. And it goes in, and it doesn't come back out.
I don't know what I expected with that. Portals, they're never good. Well then, I start walking. I just walk into it.
Okay. So once you get inside, you come through. Like at first, you just see all that like purple static kind of like foaming around your head, and eventually it kind of starts to break away, and you come into another forest-looking thing. Except for it's a lot darker. The vines are a lot thicker. You see a bunch of like weird little plant spiders kind of like skittering around through the top parts of the trees, and you see that they have kind of like a pink flower on them.
They don't sound poisonous at all.
Yeah. You also have, like, you've encountered many, many creatures in your time. These are not ones that you have ever seen before. In fact, these woods, you've never seen these woods before. Like, nothing about these trees seem familiar to you in any way, shape, or form.
Well, it definitely doesn't look anything like Terra. Nothing I've seen, anyways. I'm, like, examining, like, you know, those critters going around the top of the spiders. Like, I don't like it. I don't know. I'm not necessarily afraid of bugs, but they have an assuming presence to them. They're like this dangerous creature topped with a seemingly innocent object. Like, I don't know what to make of these things. Shit. Yeah. So I'm just gonna start walking further into these woods, trying to, you know.
I like how you don't inspect to see if the crack is still there behind you.
Nah. What part of Kuro instinct, not intelligence? We're getting to the point. I got an objective. So get to it.
Okay. Just make either a survival check or a perception.
Well, there's only one of those that I'm good at. You think someone I would be at least decent at survival, but 17.
17? Okay. So with the 17, you notice that there's some tracks in the ground. They definitely look like Vieira tracks. As well as you see a bow, kind of looks like it's just kind of been dropped in the middle of the trail. And you've been around enough Vieiras to know that this is definitely a Vieiran bow. It's been constructed specifically for Vieiras. Mm-hmm. And it looks like there's been a lot of growth over it, as if it has been here for a very long time.
I'd honestly like to think that I'd know that like a Vieira is never just gonna drop her weapon. Like a lot of Vieiras, when they're warriors, they're warriors. Like, so this is definitely out of touch. So yeah, obviously, yeah, like I look at it like, wow, looks like it's been here a lot longer than what Talia said they've been here for. Well then, I'm gonna look around, like, you know, my immediate vicinity to see if there's anything else that, you know, I missed. Anything like that. Like across the ground.
Okay. Make another perception check.
I'm doing a lot of perception checks with one.
Lots of searching.
Oh yeah, freaking 23.
Nice.
Okay. Finally, I got one.
So, looking around, you see another Vieira weapon. It's not a bow. It's a rapier. And that one is also, looks like it's been entangled in vines quite a bit. As well as you see a little bit of blood.
Well, it doesn't take hundreds of years of experience to understand that that's not good. And I'm talking to myself again. Anyway, I start making my way towards the way I was going, which I'm gonna say is like south, because the way I've been thinking is like I saw the tree going north, and then I went around it and I saw the tree, like, you know, it's leading south now, so now this is the way I'm gonna go is south.
Okay. As you're going, you hear a scream coming from your direction. It would be east.
East?
Yeah. It sounds like a young girl's scream.
Well, I'm gonna do the samurai thing, i.e. the thing that I've been cursed to do anyways. I immediately run over there. They're screaming. Something bad's happening.
Yeah.
Kuro runs.
Okay. So once you run over there, make reflex saves. Make sure you don't trip over the bush and stuff. Or acrobatics.
Acrobatics?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Okay. Natural 20. Okay, yeah, you're like so experienced in this. Like, you're just like doing flips.
I'm like pole vaulting with my sword.
So once you like get through all that, you kind of break through the brush, and you see this weird, big-looking, root-looking creature with like a bunch of leaves kind of coming off of its head, and inside those leaves you see a woman with long black hair, and she's wearing almost like a yellow onesie and some brown gloves inside it, and she gets hoisted up into the air. The thing has long tentacles that pulls her up into the air, and it kind of vanishes into the brush, and you see a young-looking man kind of emerge from the bushes shortly after that happens. And he's got blonde hair, and he's wearing almost like a blue sailor outfit with some jeans. He's wearing some big blue boots, and he's got a monkey's tail. And you also see a little tiny guy kind of laying on the ground, concerned, and he's got a pointed hat that kind of looks like it's been drooped downwards. And he's also wearing some red gloves, and he's wearing a blue vest and some blue and white striped pants. And his face is kind of completely black. All you see is like 2 red eyes.
Inner note, you like Vivi a bit too much.
I love Vivi.
Oh, unless that's a dwarf, I guess. Have they ever actually confirmed that Vivi's human or a dwarf?
No, they've never confirmed either or.
Yeah, like I've kind of been wondering, because after seeing a dwarf, I'm like, Vivi a dwarf that uses magic?
So yeah, once you emerge out of the brush, what do you do?
Not that I emerge from the brush. There's one person standing, there's one person down.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for the person that's down. I'm going to make sure he's alright. Before going to him, though, I'm going to yell if he's alright.
He just like kind of plops down on his butt, and he like grabs his hat and twists it side to side as if he's adjusting it, and he looks up at you and he goes, "Yeah, I'm alright."
Okay.
So the guy with the monkey tail comes running over to the little guy with like the ruined pointy hat, and you see like he kind of like puts his arms on his shoulder, like kind of brushing him off and helping him up, as you're also running towards them.
Well, like at this point, like I was already getting ready to like strike. There's one person down, there's one person up. Like Kuro doesn't like that image.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I assume that he was a bad guy. Like I mean, there's a guy up, there's a guy down. Kuro instantly goes, nope. But now that I see, he's kind of helping him up, my like hand leaves my sheath, and I start walking more slower, not urgently anymore. So I'm going to assume that you two know each other then.
The monkey guy goes, yeah, I guess you can say that. And like still brushes off the little guy. We've only known each other a very, very brief moment. Not since like the crash. Well, I guess I met him right before the crash happened. I don't know. Anyways, we got more important things. We got to get Garnet back.
Crash? What are you talking about, crash?
Our ship, it crashed. We got assaulted by a crazy frickin' knight and a frickin' bomb.
Interesting. So, I am going to put 2 and 2 together and say Garnet was, and I just like gesture towards the way that they run, where, the thing took that one woman.
Yeah. Yeah, that was Garnet. I was in charge of taking care of her, but I'm not doing so good with that. Anyways, Vivi, we need to go. And he helps Vivi up and he starts moving.
Haha. I knew it. Wait, why didn't I put 2 and 2 together when I heard the name Garnet? Damn it, Logan.
Yeah, I thought this whole scene would have maybe clicked if you played the games, but
to be fair, you have to remember how long it's been since I've actually played some of the older ones.
Yeah.
I think my god, the last one that I played before 14 was 4 years ago, and that was 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm only just playing 12 again now. So the last time I played this game was a kid.
Yeah.
I don't remember these games anymore now. Now, great. Now you're making me feel self-conscious. I'm going to have to go play these games again. Thanks, Nick.
I try.
Well,
you see them kind of running off into the distance. Well, you see the monkey guy is kind of running a little bit. The little guy that he called Vivi is kind of struggling a bit. And you see him fall every so often and get back up. Run a bit.
Well, I'm going to just put my arms to my side. Just... There's always one thing or another here. Well, I'm going to assume they're going to need help. The other one there doesn't seem very confident with his movements. I make my way towards Vivi. I'm going to assume I'm faster than him, almost walking at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm going to offer him a ride. I'm going to pick him up.
Okay. So once you get close to him, right before you can offer him a ride, you see another one of those root things kind of swing down and scoop him up into his leaves and drop down in front of you. And then we're going to roll for initiative.
Fun. Well, I'm going last. I got 3. I wish Monkey Boy was here.
Monkey Boy's here.
Monkey Boy's here.
Yeah.
I thought he ran ahead of us.
Nope.
He's going to start getting some really offensive names going on. He'll be like, hey, Turd Flinger, let's do this.
Okay, so the plant actually gets to go first.
Of course it does.
Yeah, and you see the plant stick its tentacles in through the leaves on its head and
Yeah.
start touching Vivi. And you see like this red light kind of come out of Vivi and wrap around the tentacles and go into him.
Oh,
and you see Vivi kind of look like he's starting to get a little bit weaker.
Okay. Is that his move?
That is his move.
Oh, okay.
He does how much damage to Vivi? 3 points of damage.
What's the damage to Vivi? Kind of sucks that I've taken 4 damage already.
Yes.
4? Actually, no. I've taken 5 damage altogether already because bashing myself in the face and dropping for 1 damage.
So you see the monkey guy, and he's like, Vivi, no, I can't, not you too. And so he pulls out 2 daggers and goes up and goes to slash him with it. He misses with one, or like slashes into it with 1 dagger, and doesn't seem like it's penetrating the roots, as if they're a little bit too thick. Then he goes and like slashes up with the other one against one of the leaves, and that seems to do a little bit of damage. That's 3 points of damage to the tree. And Kuro.
How far away is he?
He's about, since you were about to help Vivi up, he's like maybe 5-10 feet away.
Okay, well, I'm gonna just nonchalantly just start walking slowly up to him with my blade on my shoulder, and then put it back down to my side, grabbing it, and I'm gonna go for a Yaijutsu strike.
Okay.
As I signal, I'll try to live through this, you damn abomination. Yaijutsu strike, I gotta do AC. Yeah, it's AC still. I got a 12. Wait, no. It's with a ball ability modifier, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, never mind. I got 17.
17?
Yeah.
That's with your strength?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah. So that's going to hit.
Yeah.
So that's 7 points of damage.
No, that's 8.
Okay. So slash into it, and you manage to tear into the root a bit, but you're like, that didn't do as much damage as you were expecting.
Yeah, my cockiness, my cocky smirk just goes away. Crap.
Yeah. So this plant thing, once again, it sticks its tentacles inside, and you see it start draining some energy from Vivi again. 2 damage to Vivi. So you see, once he does that, his wound kind of starts to heal a bit. And the monkey guy is, just frantically slashing away at this thing, trying to get through to Vivi. And
Where's his butt?
Yeah. Once again, one doesn't penetrate, but he manages to get through with his other one. Oh, it does 6 points of damage.
Nice.
Yeah, he's really stressing out on getting Vivi back out of there. Kuro.
Oh shit, I mean, Miles is alright. Fucking go for Blade Bash. Try to give him a bit of the tap. Oh yeah, that's 21.
Oh yeah, that's definitely.
1.
Oh.
So that.
Okay, so you're hitting him with your hilt, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I essentially, it's Blade. Oh wait, no, it's Blade Bash. So I kind of instead of using the sharp part of it, I ended up the side of my blade and just whacked it with it.
Okay, so you're noticing slashing isn't really doing too much. So you're okay, we're gonna start using the more.
We're gonna go and take a new approach at this.
Yeah. So you bash into it, and this thing goes flying off to the side, and Vivi comes springing out of the leaves. Make a reflex save.
Make a reflex save. Is it dead, by the way?
Oh yeah, it's dead. You see,
okay.
it crash into the tree, and
I was just making sure because it wasn't dead. I was doing a fortitude save.
Oh yeah.
Well, now I don't get to know if stunning would have done anything. Oh yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you see Vivi come flying at you, so you manage to catch him, and you look over at the plant thing. You see it start to kind of melt away and turn into some black goo, and then vanish. And Vivi just looks up at you with big wide eyes, and he's like, "Oh, thank you, sir."
At this point, I just like to think Kuro didn't notice the black face of him. He's really normal to what he sees, and drops him.
He's just and nat 20. So he's just, I guess, used to this. So once you drop him, he just does a little roll and lands right on his feet.
I apologize.
And once again, he adjusts his hat.
I apologize. Your appearance shocked me for a second. You're different from the beings I'm used to seeing.
That's okay. I've heard that I'm different from the beings that are here too. And he just keeps sauntering, slowly starts walking away.
I was just I'm gonna try to keep up pace. So you two were talking about some garnets. Who is this? What? Where is this?
The monkey boy kind of looks at you and he goes, "Well, you're on Gaia, and you're in the Mist Woods. Why don't you know this?
Guy, what? I don't know what that is. I'm from Eon?
I'm sorry, I don't know where that is. But right now, Garnet's in trouble, and I kind of need to save her. So, I mean, if you're interested in hitting on her, she's mine, so you're going to have to back off. Leave the rescuing to me.
I don't even know what a Garnet is, but if this is a friend of yours that's in trouble, maybe I can help.
Well, I'll take any help I can get, but remember, she's my girl.
So I probably haven't yet because I'm Kuro. I probably caught Vivi with my sword in my hand because I didn't have time to sheath it. I'm gonna sheath it and I'm gonna keep up pace with them still.
Okay. As they're walking, the guy kind of stops mid-stop and turns to you, and he goes, "Oh, by the way, I'm Zidane. This is Vivi.
Name's Kuro Yanami.
Now,
it's a pleasure to meet you."
Pleasure's all mine, bud. Smacks you on the side of the shoulder.
When he does that, I would assume that we're looking each other in the face. Like, you see my eye sort of twitches, like it closes, and when it opens, it's red, but when it closes again and comes back up, it's then green again.
Once he sees that, you see him, his face slowly coming close to yours. He, looks, right nose to nose, looking in your eyes, is your eyes okay?
A bit of a nervous twitch is all. Anyway, should we not be getting going?
Right, let's go. Starts running. You guys kind of emerge out into this big opening, and you see this huge-looking flower, and it's got these giant tentacles, and it's got a mouth with a bunch of or I guess where the center part of the flower would be, you see a bunch of teeth, and kind of looks like it has antenna, and hanging above it, you see that girl in the yellow with her black hair. And you hear Zidane yell out, "Garnet, it's okay. Your one true love is here to save the day." And he pulls out his daggers, and that's where we're going to end it.
That's where we're going to end it?
Yeah.
You weren't even going to end after a boss fight?
No, before the fight. Hey everyone, thanks for listening. That was our first episode of Kuro Files. If you want to... Hey everybody, thanks for listening. That was our first episode of Kuro Files. If you want to follow us, you can find me at Biggie Nicholas on Twitter. And you can find Logan at Matey7 on Twitter. So hopefully we will see you then, and have yourselves a wonderful day.